All right, man, we're back.
What's up, man?
We're missing our hombre.
We're missing our homie, man. We'll have to drink one extra one for him.
I know. So
I'm gonna tip my 12 to him.
Jose's not here today, unfortunately, but
No.
he has missed his day job called, so it is what it is. And we just said, maybe we can't roll this one.
Yeah, well, we've got Josh with us, so we can get a third opinion if necessary.
Yeah, for sure
on it. But so today, you know what's interesting? I had 3 people ask me today because I first of all I got this great shot glass from Kayla Watley. She got me this, and remember I made you that glass.
It looks it looks exactly like that.
So this is a
so that's
shot
basically
glass.
like a. I wonder, is that like a pint-sized bottle that they make of Corleone?
No, I think they manufactured these because it's like perfectly centered right there on that. So, but it's that same blue glass, and my wife helped her out with it, and I thought it was really good. And so, but I had said, oh, good. I said I'm gonna use it tonight. We have tequila talk, and she's like, what do you guys do? That I said, you don't listen to it, and she's like, no. And I was going to say, well, we talk about you, but, I didn't. But I told her, I said, we just talk. That's all we do. I said, we talk about having families. We talk about life. We talk about jobs. We talk about work. It's just pretty much anything that you would talk about once you kind of get loose, And we also try different tequilas because people like tequilas. They want to know which. Because people always ask me, what tequila should I get? Or I'll get a call. Hey, I'm sorry to bother you, but I got a party this weekend. And, what kind of tequila? I'm like, okay, well, who's coming? You any Mexicans coming? No? Okay, here's what you're going to do.
Now that you bring that up, I've noticed something. So, I'm bad about, me and the wife and the kids, we're bad about going to a Mexican restaurant. Here's why. A lot of times, we can get the kids sit down and just give them some chips and salsa and they chill out. It's a better environment than having to sit there. I feel like they're almost spoiled now because if we go into any restaurant, they're extremely impatient because they're like 20 or 30 minutes, they're like, where's the food? Yeah. Because normally they have chips and stuff to mess with. But I've noticed that, the Hispanic market there, or anyone I talk to, they'll suggest things that I'm not in agreement with is good. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I'll still try stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I was at I think one of the bottles I bought a while back. I was at Kingston Market, and there was a Mexican guy, behind me. ¿Estás tequila muy buen? I was like, yeah, it is. It's very good. This one is very, very good. And of course, he had his suitcase of Coors Light. Coors Light, it's Sunday, so it's beer, or it's Saturday, so it's beer day. But so a lot of people ask, and to me, I haven't found one I don't like. I have found
We've had one or two that was horrible. I don't remember what it was.
It's not that I didn't like it. It's that I wouldn't drink it alone by itself. I would mix it with something else, Now, I think the only one that we had that was really bad, well, excuse me, I take that back. Mezcal. Yeah. It's not my favorite. But even that, that 1800 that we had.
Yeah, it wasn't great. It was 1800 in Añejo, too.
Yeah, but I think if you were to mix that with something, it might taste a little bit better.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But today what we got, you brought...
I brought the Members Mark Reposado because you and I have been talking about this. I'd had it, but I was mixing it, so I haven't had it straight up at all. Mm-hmm. And I figured shout out first off to Cuban Liquor because they've hooked us up on these next couple episodes, so shout out to them. So I have 2 great bottles from them, and then I brought the Members Mark Reposado just because it's extremely low priced, and it should be good because their silver is good.
Yeah, I like their silver. In fact, that's my go-to.
Yeah.
That's just my regular go-to.
That's what we use at the house to mix.
Yeah, $22 for,
use lime juice, that, and maybe a little bit of, club soda or something and roll with it.
Yeah, it's not a special occasion or anything. And so, something like that. Now, if my son's in town or a special occasion, I'll do something a little bit different. But I brought this to Centenario, and I was kind of really upset that Jose's not here.
I know, because that was for Jose.
This is the one he said he liked.
We'll just have to drink it again.
Yeah, we'll just have to drink it in. This is the one he liked. And I found this at Sam's, too.
Okay.
And it's about, I'm not going to say how much cheaper it is than other locations, but it's a pretty good price discount.
Yeah.
And which is interesting, too, because I wish we had a Costco here. Because have you seen how much tequila Costco has?
I've never been. I don't know if I've ever been to Costco. But I may have been to one. I have not looked at tequila for sure.
They've got they had the Corlejo Añejo, extra Añejo. They have had
for how much? Because that shit's
only only $45.
Well, there's that big. Have you seen that Corlejo, the big bottle? It's in the box. It's golden, has a completely different marking and wrapping.
I haven't seen that one.
It's in packaging. I mean, no, it's beautiful, but it's like $160.
Where'd you see that one
at? Cuban had one.
Oh, I'll have to go back and take a look.
I was looking at that. I was like, damn, no, we're not going
to go there. It's looking like a firework package, huh?
Yeah, no, that's what it looks like. Yeah, it's a really long bottle. Yeah, but anyways.
Well, I always like to go, like when I go to, salud first. Let's go ahead and try this. This is that reposado.
Josh, you want some?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Just don't pour me near as much as you pour.
You go for it.
I'll let you pour for you, okay? All right? Just like I tell my daughters, if you go out, you pour your own drinks. So, mija, you pour your own drink, okay?
It's good. No, it's good.
It is.
Surprisingly.
Now, after we go have the rest of these,
we have everything else and go back to this shit, it's going to taste like rubbing alcohol. But initially, I think it's always a good strategy for us to start with the lowest end stuff.
Yeah,
and that's funny too because I don't know who the distributor is for that, or the distiller, but it's got to be something good because that silver's always great, and this is just that same silver aged,
and it's always consistent.
Yeah, but just like that Centenario, I mean, they're able to get this stuff in bulk, so that's why you get it cheaper, right? Mm-hmm. But sometimes when that happens, you get the quality goes to shit. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not buying any Jose there. You can get a Jose there. You can get a half gallon of Jose for like $36, but I'm not drinking that shit.
Okay, the second one was not as good. Ooh.
What do you think? Yeah, it's warm. I think it's just warm in general today. That's not helping any.
It's not warm. It's hot today. I tell you, this weather. I can't. I love the falls. The fall that we have here is like the 2 weeks of fall that we have.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, I thought that was starting last week.
Well,
they just gave us blue balls, man. It's like fucking. It started cooling off a little bit. I was like, hell yeah! In the evenings, it was cool.
Yes, in the morning it had that nice.
Yeah,
nice
fuck, it was like
cool.
60.
Yeah, it was like
it was
pink,
59 last week.
Yeah, pink dawns, and it was like hunting season.
But hey, we're in Louisiana, so it is what it is.
That's crazy. And then, but
when everyone bitches when it's cold and they complain when it's hot. There's like no in between here.
And I wish Jose was here because for a lot of reasons. But there was something that I want to talk about on this one, and it's very interesting that the topic was brought up today quite a few times at our BNI meeting.
What's that?
I was talking to Cheryl the other day. I said, I said next time we have Tequila talk, I want to talk about all the bullying.
Oh yeah,
and the suicides that are coming off a result of it. And as parents, because like. My kids are all old, but I have a grandchild. And I'm myself worried for what school is he going to go to, how the kid's going to be, stuff like that. And then you look at all the bullying that's going on, and then you look at the suicide as a result of it, and how come there's so much bullying. I don't understand. I don't know if it's just because people talk about it more than they did when we were in school, because it was bullying when I was in school.
Yeah. Well, no, I think that. Well, yeah. I mean, I think that. Here's another thing. We've gotten soft, man. We've gotten soft, and I'm sorry, and I'm going to go there, and I don't care. We've gotten really soft. I'm extremely militant with our kiddos, and it's like that's for good reason. Mm-hmm. I was picked on in school a little bit when I was in middle school. I was a little overweight, and I was in band. I was a nerd, and I got my first fight because I got made fun of because I was fat. But like, I feel like that's it's a pecking order thing, man. I think it's part of life and society. If you're going to let someone overrun you, they will. There's always going to be someone that's going to bully you if you're open to letting them do so. Right. I think that it's just I don't know. There's so much distance between parents and children now because they don't talk to their parents like they probably would have. And I know there's probably always been like I didn't talk to my mom about certain things or whatever, but like there's a huge distance when they're in front of screens 24/7 and they're not having that interaction personal, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then so if something were to happen, it may get prolonged before there may be a build up before something actually, and then it's too late,
right.
Like these kids taking their own lives and stuff. And I'm not saying that's, they should have been tougher. I'm just saying that I think that as society, we've gotten extremely soft.
Right.
And, and those individuals, there's always going to be someone that picks on someone. I mean, it just is what it is. And
right. But is your skin thick enough to take
exactly. it? Or are you open to it? Like, are you like, hey, I'm a target? Are you a target?
Yeah.
And what makes you a target? I think that's important. I think it's never talked about. They're like, we need to stop bullying. Well, why are you being bullied?
Right.
What kind of attention are you giving that invites that bully to you, and how do you circumvent that?
So when you were bullied in school, no, I'm just kidding. But and I agree, because I thought about that too, and I thought, you know what, I grew up in a society, or at least when I was a kid, it was like you could whoop somebody else's kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, hell yeah.
And there was no talking back. There was no, well, I have my own thoughts, and I'm just going to sit here, and I'm going to, I'm just going to take my own thoughts in, and I'm going to have my, no, you behaved, or you get your butt kicked.
Yeah.
Okay. But also, you had that sense of discipline, and there's something that I think Chris Rock said. He said, tone will get your ass kicked.
Yeah, of course. Well,
some people don't know.
Well, that's a good point, because I tell our son that. I'm like, look, I really don't want to whoop your ass, but sometimes them smart ass remarks you're giving me, someone's going to whoop your ass. I mean, he's 8, so I don't really tell him that, direct, but I'm just saying, like, you're going to act that way to the wrong person one day, and they're going to check you, and I'm not going to feel bad for you. You need to be respectful. If there's a reason for that, then okay, but like having that certain tone, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like that's how it was, because when we were growing up, if I come at you incorrect, like my mom, she's beating your ass on the spot. It don't matter if it's in grocery store. Even if I didn't say yes, ma'am, or no, sir, she would pick me up and take me to the bathroom and beat my ass and come back. Like I swear to God, every time. We
don't beat his ass, but my grandson,
right.
We like, and he'll say, excuse me, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. So we teach them very young,
right?
So that way, it's like that. When I was in kindergarten, I had to write, I will say yes, sir, when I'm called. My dad made me write it 100 times.
And you're from a military family,
yeah,
too.
A military family.
So,
yeah, and I don't know if he just wanted a nap and we needed quiet, so he said, here, write this 100 times. But so I always learned respect, and always had respect for elders, for bosses, things like that. Now, every now and then, I mouthed off to somebody, to a boss, something like that, and I got put in my place. But when I got older and I started working and I started going places, my foundation of respect for those who have come before me, they're in that position. Why? I don't know why. But because they're in that position and I'm in this position, right now I have to respect that. I can't come in like being like, okay, well, we're going to change everything because I'm here now.
Yeah. And
I don't like how you do that, so I'm going to do it this way. Okay? Well, that's not going to work. And a lot of times I think what happens is we tell our kids a little too much that they're special.
Yeah. Well, it's just that participation trophy era, right? And that's what we're dealing with right now. So we're dealing with the children who – or the children of the children who are self-entitled, right? Which creates double entitlement, I think. Yeah. Especially people my age and younger with children. Yeah. There's a whole distance between them and their children, and also they're great no matter what. They're great, and yes, of course, in your eyes they are. But at the end of the day, you have to cut someone to their size and give them some sort of accountability. Yeah. Everybody has to have it, because then you have unrealistic expectations, and then as soon as someone picks on you, you may not. And we've talked about this before too. The hardest thing you've ever been through is the hardest thing you've ever been through, right? So if that's the hardest thing they've ever dealt with, they may succumb to not being able to deal with it. So you have to give someone a little bit of. I just feel like you got to check your children. They got to give them a little bit of real life. Not too. I know I'm always thinking in my head, okay, I'm trying not to make them grow up too quick, but at the same time, you got to get them ready for the real world, because the real world will kick you in your ass. Yeah, and it doesn't care. It doesn't. Yeah. There's no racism. There's no There's no It doesn't discriminate.
And not to be mean or anything, but children are like dogs.
Yeah,
you have to train them. The dog is not allowed to do this. So when the dog exhibits that sense of behavior, you correct the dog. Yeah. Too many people are too worried about being their child's friend.
Yep.
Instead of being their parent. Now, I do understand when there's trauma or there's things that happen in your lifetime that sometimes you just got to be a little bit easier on the kid.
Yeah,
because you got to let them, get through it and get through all that. However,
you can't baby them too much, because what happens is when they get the age of to where it's time to let them go, then they can't deal with their shit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then there's all kind of mental health issues and all that shit.
And I worried so much about my son when he went off to go work, in that, I spanked him, I think, twice. I can remember in the whole life, spanked him twice. I raised my voice to him. And also, what's funny is that he remembers the time I spanked him. He was probably not even maybe he was in kindergarten or so, and we were at the mall, and he was mouthing off. And I told him, I said, say something like that one more time and see what happens. And he did. And I got right up, and the look on his face was like, holy shit, I done poked the bear. And I picked him up, I took him in the bathroom, and I spanked him. I said, I told you. I said, you're going to be respectful. He came back, and to this day, he remembers that. I didn't beat him.
Right.
I didn't draw blood. But I told him, look, if you do this, this is what's going to happen. I think a lot of times, if you do this, this is what's going to happen, only comes when the person's in jail. They finally get to the point where it's like, and I'm sure your wife can attest to this, that a lot of people are like, well, what do you mean? What, I do this all the time.
As soon as accountability shows up, then and you can't do the same thing for everyone. The same punishment does not work on everyone.
It does not, but the same sense of discipline needs to work. The same thing of like, look, you can't get away with it, and they can't get away with it. I don't care who you are. You're not going to get away with it because, first of all, if you don't stop that behavior when they're young, they're just going to keep doing it.
Yeah, and we're in a weird sense of environment now to where everything is, no one wants to get their feelings hurt. So people are probably a bit leery to how they want to handle those things because they're like, well, how is society going to view me if I do this, or whatever the fuck. But at the end of the day, look, there's things have worked, and you can talk to parents that have, my mom has 7 kids. You know what I mean? You talk to these women who raised 10 children, 50 years ago when that was, extremely prevalent.
But they didn't have time for bullshit.
They will tell you this is how you deal with things, and it worked. It created a hardworking society.
That's right.
Because when you created where we have now.
When you got that many kids, you can't take the time to get each one's individual feelings into account. Yeah, it's like, look, we got to get dinner. We got to get dinner done. We got to get so we got to move forward.
Well, and here's another thing. We were just talking about that on the way here. My wife and I start having the kids help more around the house. Like you need to.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be. Here's my thing. It should not be called a chore, and you should not be rewarded for it. It should be, these are a set of tasks that you're assigned to help this household because we give you shelter and yes, you are children, but still you do your part. Yeah. At some point you got to, I'm not saying enslave your child. I'm saying at some point slowly start giving them things to do so they know what it is to work and say, okay, do you want to go play with your friends? Okay, that's fine. But hey, we need help with laundry. We need help with the litter box. We need help sweeping, whatever it may be, whatever you can do. And a lot of things they don't know how to do yet, but give them things to do. And so once they get those things done, then they're able to do the fuck off stuff they want to do,
Well, my dad was militant, and he was every night after dinner, and we ate dinner at the table. We want to talk about that?
You're going to have to read this one.
I'll read it.
El Reformador, I believe, but
it says El Reformador.
Yeah.
I think I'm trying to think if I've had this before.
We definitely haven't had this on here.
It's a reposado, and it's just blue agave. Yeah, and it's in English, so
Yeah, but it's not too legit.
Yeah, but it's not here.
It's got pretty packaging though.
But we always ate dinner at the table.
Yeah.
And I hated it.
That's something we don't do. But I'm weird, dude. I eat standing up. I'm so fucking weird. Like at the house, I don't know why.
Well, when I first started dating Cheryl, and she can probably attest to this, it was like and she had two daughters, right? And I was like, we need to eat at the table because we're a family. We're going to sit down and we're going to eat at the table because we need to talk.
Yeah.
Because the girls were still getting used to knowing me, and I was getting used to knowing them, and it was like, okay, we're going to sit at the table and we're going to eat. And now I used to hate it because it was like, interrogation or grill session. And it was like, take your elbows off the table, get your elbows off the table. Don't pick your teeth. It was just like, I hated it. But at the end of dinner, every time after dinner, on alternating nights, my sister did the dishes and then I did the dishes. Okay. And then we had an inspection after we did it. And I'm talking barracks inspection.
As far as if you did it to quality?
Yeah. And there was no dishwasher.
But do you appreciate that?
I'm getting to that. Yeah, okay. So, salud.
Cheers. Whoa. Whoa.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's good. That's some oak.
It tastes like bourbon.
Some oak in there, yeah.
It's like a bourbon. Yeah. It's got a bourbon flavor. It's not bad, but it's good. I like it. And it's got good legs too. So my dad would come in afterwards, okay, and he would, and the chrome had to be polished on the stove, okay. We didn't have a dishwasher, so we hand washed the dishes. Right. We dried them and then put them away. dishes weren't left in the strainer. My wife's going to be like, my God, why didn't you ever do that now? But dishes were never left in the strainer. And so he'd come in and he'd go like this, and then he'd check that, and then we all swept the floor. Okay?
Every night.
Every night. So he'd come in and look at it. And then when I did something wrong, I would have to redo it. And he told me this. He said, one day you'll thank me.
Yeah.
And I did. I thanked him. I said, you know what? Thank you for doing that. Now, the way you did it,
could have done it different way, but hey, man, look, everyone has
it could have been a little bit like, look, listen to me. I'm trying to teach you values, not one day you'll thank me.
But I don't think they understand either way. I don't think, no matter how they delivered it, I don't think you understand. They don't understand. There's no concept of value or self-worth.
I think I was more worried about making a mistake than I was about doing good.
So you were more worried about getting in trouble than
I was about excelling.
It would shake you.
Excelling and saying, you know what, I'm going to make this the cleanest fucking stove.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to see your reflection on this.
Yeah.
But then when I started my own business, I had an auto detail business in Hawaii. I was like, you're going to be able to stick your finger in this Lamborghini and think there's nothing there. You're going to be able to stick your finger through it. Because I used to use this a Zymol carnauba wax, and it was a wax that you had to put in your hand. You had to melt it in your palms like this, and then you would rub it on the car like this. Nice. You would massage it on the car, and it was pure, 100% pure carnauba wax, like bananas. And you'd rub it on there, and you let it, and then you would hand buff it. No machines, So I'd spend 6 hours doing a Lamborghini, but it was boom,
pristine.
It was pristine, and but I enjoyed that. Mm-hmm. So when I enjoyed doing it, I also wanted to excel at it.
Well, and here's another thing too. You're not gonna enjoy a lot of things, right, in life, which sucks. You just got to do it.
You got to find the enjoyment in it.
But I'm talking about as a child, no, that shit sucks. You don't want to do it. But it's like if you do it, it needs to become part of your routine of being a clean person or cleaning up after yourself or just having some accountability. That's it.
Okay, I'm going to tell you this though. Okay, it can backfire. Because you can ask my wife, I am the messiest person you've ever met.
Yeah.
Okay? I can clean my studio one day. All my paints, all my brushes, all my stuff is exactly where I want it to be.
Yeah.
2 days later, boom.
Yeah.
All over the place. And when I go work, when I do my work on printers and even on my truck. Now, the thing on my truck was okay, when I did that, I categorized everything. I was very, very meticulous because I don't want to screw up. But anything else is if I don't need it, I just push it out of the way because I have to focus on this. And then when I'm done with the job, I look over here and I've got all this mess. I got all these tools and I got all this stuff because my mind didn't take into account the entire process, only the process of what was happening at that moment.
Yeah.
So when my dad, a Saturday morning when we'd wake up, we would try to be as quiet as possible because we don't want to wake him up, right? So we'd wake up and we could hear him come in the hall. We're like, oh, shit, here we go. and first thing that happened was TV got turned off, time to do your chores.
Yeah.
Clean the house, clean your room, blah, blah, blah. Hated Saturdays.
Yeah.
Hated it. But, so I don't know if it was because of that I was felt that cleaning was not something to be proud of, but that being clean and living in a clean environment was a punishment.
Ah, that's interesting.
So
yeah. Well, I don't care what they do when they get out of the house, but as long as they live with us, it's gonna be clean.
Well, it's like my son has got the cleanest apartment you've ever seen. He does not like clutter.
So when I was growing up with my mom, and it was me and my brother. We were close, 2 years apart, and then 10 years later, she married my stepdad and she had 5 children with him. Well, she got extremely busy, and the house would get just so messy. Mm-hmm. And I was the only one in the house that had a meticulously clean room. Mm-hmm. And so I was a neat freak because I didn't like living in that environment, just because I wasn't used to it. Because before she got married and had all those children, she was like that. Mm-hmm. But she just got busy with life and trying to work and raise all those kids. And she's trying to keep it as clean as she could. You know what I mean? But
and do you ever stop and go, how the fuck did she do?
Man, I don't know how she does it. I don't know how she's still got 2 at the house, and then helping. You know how she has the grown children too.
Yeah, exactly. You got to raise your grown children.
I don't know how she did it.
And I told my wife this the other day. I said, we're very lucky in the fact that we can enjoy our grandson, not raise him.
Yeah.
Now we do raise him in the sense that you're always raising a child. Even when it comes to CC and Pop-Pop's house, we spoil the heck out of him, but he's required to act a certain way. He can't just, run around naked and, have a good time, And I will say this was really funny is that having a grandson is really interesting because things that my wife used to say when we first got married take on a whole different meaning now. Like I'll hear her say, "When I come back in that room, you better be naked." And it's not for me; it's for my grandson, you know. And like, did you get your underwear off yet? So so I'd look at Hunter and go, "Been there, bro, been there."
But on the opposite side.
It's a wonderful thing, and now he's at that age in school where they get the cards, the color cards, the green card, the yellow card.
Yeah,
and we didn't. I mean, I didn't ever had that. Sage had that. Sage was my first child that had that.
We didn't have that either. But they have them, and we check that every day.
And what happened is when Sage was in kindergarten, our next door neighbor was his kindergarten teacher, Miss Stevens, best kindergarten teacher in the world, and. He had a yellow card like 2 days in a row or something. She wrote, he's not paying attention, blah, blah. So we told her, look, if that happens again, you call me. I'm going to come up to the school, okay? And I told Sage, I said, you listen to me. If you mess up, they're going to call me, and I'm going to come up to that school. He didn't think it was going to happen. And guess what happened? She called him. I came up, and he's like, oh, shit. Okay. and again, but see, again, that's where. I
think I need to do that. My mom used to threaten me with that shit, too. I need to do that.
But see, that's where you're accountable for that. Now, I didn't say I was going to come up there and whoop his ass.
No, I just said I'm going to come up there
and we're going to have a little discussion.
You're going to be embarrassed.
So that you know that I know what you're doing in class. You can never get away with anything.
Well, our son's the worst. So Addison, she's...
Take into account, you got two girls, right?
Yeah, you're getting there. So Addison, she's the best at school. She's an angel. When she comes home, she's a little shit, but she's awesome. And then, as on the advert of that, Turner, he's bad sometimes at school, and it's the same thing, like not paying attention, disruption class, whatever. And look, I get it. And here's my thing: some of those teachers, they may just not want to deal with anything. You don't know the tolerance of the teacher. They may just every time someone blinks wrong, they may, we don't know that. We don't know the environment. We don't know the culture. We don't know the expectations. Until we're there. But then at home, he's not that bad. He's great, or at least he's I don't know, it's just I would say regular,
right.
There's no changes in emotions or nothing
there's
crazy.
There's a default on
right. So but he'll come home sometimes with that, and then but the funniest thing with them is it was an accident. Or it's not my fault, and so there's a loss of accountability.
Right.
Which sometimes it's just okay, we just got to work more on accountability.
Right.
That's what we got to work on. I know you're full of shit.
Right.
I know you're telling me you're lying just because you don't want to be in trouble.
Right.
Or you're just putting it on someone else, or someone else did it, or it was an accident.
Yeah.
It was an accident. Oh my God. So that just means we got to work on accountability more.
And I think I honestly believe this, and parents or whatever. I always think that. And I know we've talked about this before, and I'm sure I've said it before, but the day Sage was born, I told him, I said, and from the day he was born until today, you can ask him, I tell him, don't you ever be afraid to come talk to me about anything. If you screwed up, I want to be the person that you call. When I screwed up, the parents were the last people I wanted to call.
Me too. Yeah,
okay?
I'm not calling.
But that doesn't mean that him and I were best friends and him growing up. It meant that I said that, look, I've got your back. Don't you ever worry about being alone.
Yeah.
Don't you ever, if some teacher acts a certain way with you, my wife did that with a teacher at airline, did something about Lindsay and her friends, and she said that person said this, and Cheryl went up there, it's excuse me? No, She had her daughter's back, okay? You have your children's back.
Well, there's a fine line, right? So you have to be disciplinary.
Well,
you also got to have their back. But then there's the parents that are like, "Oh no, my child never does anything."
Oh no,
wrong.
no.
Right.
We're not that.
Right,
because
exactly.
We know, but now we look at our children and go, "Okay, I need you to tell me, okay? Because if you did it, it's fine. Then we'll deal with it.
Yeah.
But if you didn't, okay, I need to know because that way we can. I can fight for you. I can be on your side." And she's like, "Mom, we didn't."
Yeah.
And she went, and sure enough, they didn't. This person thought that they did, and it wasn't them. It was somebody else.
Yeah.
But the fact that Cheryl was the first person she called, the fact that our children knew that it doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter what you do. You can get into the worst possible trouble in your life. For example, I have a uncle who he's now a judge, but he was a cop at one point in time, and his nephew on his wife's side got into an altercation with another boy and shot the other boy. He shot him. Okay. He didn't call his mom and dad. He called my uncle. Because, first of all, he was chief of police, but second of all, because he trusted him.
Yeah.
And so he said, okay, where are you? And he went, and he got him, and he took him to jail. He said, obviously, you're going to have to answer for this.
Yes.
However, I'm going to protect you.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure that everything that's done is done properly. You're not alone, okay? So I think the worst thing about it, being a child, and maybe this comes back to being bullied, is that do you trust enough to tell your parent, or do you feel that your children trust you enough to tell you, hey, I'm being bullied, and you'll go have one of two answers, either, okay, well, I'll call and talk to the teacher, or tell me about it.
Yeah.
Who's bullying you? Why are they bullying you? What's going on? And I think a lot of it, like you said, there's screen time.
I'm not the guy. I can't stand that shit. We don't have any of that in the house, but also it's the real world, right? Mm-hmm. I noticed that they were watching too much YouTube and shit, and just nothing that was doing anything but like watching these kids play video games or dumb shit. I'm just like, This is not helping you. If it's something like creative or expanding your mindset,
right.
And cool. But so now we only watch TV as a family,
right?
Which is crazy because never did that my whole life, but we do that now. It's like a family thing. So like we get all our shit done, we're gonna sit down and watch TV.
That's awesome.
There's no TVs in the room anymore.
That's wonderful.
And so
that's great.
So that I think that's created more of a bond for us. But I also think that it's not so much of the screen time. It's okay, is the parent too busy to acknowledge the child and spend enough one-to-one, no matter what it is, no matter if it's just hanging out with them and taking them shopping with you, or just riding in the vehicle when they're in the vehicle talking to them and not listening to your favorite, song or whatever,
Yeah. And a child does not require as much attention as your spouse.
No.
And a lot of people don't understand. It's like, look, you can give a child 2 hours of dedicated time, and that will take them through the week.
Yeah, they're not going to take. Yeah, I mean, maybe 5 to 30 minutes a day, and then they want nothing to do with you.
But if you say, you know what, hey, you and me, we're going to go do this thing.
Yeah.
Which is why, my son lives in Dallas, and he could easily drive here to see us. But I go pick him up, and Cheryl even asked me, and I'm sure we talked about this before. She asked me, so why do you? He can drive. He drives Ferraris all day through Dallas. He can drive his car all the way home. I was like, I know. I said, but the 3 hours I get with him, just me and him, from Dallas to here
and then back,
are the most precious.
And that'll last
things.
You a month. You know what I mean?
It is. I swear, it is. It is my meter. It is like my gas tank of happiness.
Yeah.
And I feel. I mean, I still cry when I'll give him a hug, and then he lives in this subdivision or this thing, and they've got like every apartment complex has like a park in the middle of it. It's really cool. It's great. It's a great place. And so he's like over on this corner, and so I'll we'll unload the car on Sunday night, and I'll drive here, and they'll come, and instead of going left, I'll turn right, and I go back around the corner. I jump out of the car, I hug him again, and I'll. It's just I have fun. I have fun with him, and I know one day I won't be here. So when I'm gone, I want him the memories that he has of our time together. I want to be good memories and no regret that I didn't keep my word about taking him somewhere. Or we didn't do that. But the fact that him and I just being together was a good moment.
Yeah,
we weren't doing anything except being together. And so when your child is between middle school and high school, the best thing I feel you can do is talk to them. Make them talk to you.
And it's not, because it got brought up in the meeting today, and it's something that's extremely important. Marshall brought that up, and I need to have. I'm going to have Marshall back on.
You need to have Marshall back on.
Last time Marshall was on, it was he and his brother, and we talked more about fighting. We need to talk about that because he experiences it one-on-one every single day. And I mean, I think most of it is not talking to him, but a lot of it is also a mix of there's a little bit too much cushion. You know what I mean? There's a little bit too much cushion. So I think it's a balance between both. But you said something about not being able to talk to your parents is a funny story. So I was in high school. No, I wasn't. Man, I probably was a freshman.
This is a Centenario.
So this is for
Jose. Yeah. We miss you, homie.
Cheers, Jose.
Cheers, Jose.
This was for you. Yeah. For my dead homies.
That's right.
So the story, I was in high school, I was in 9th grade. So what happened was my buddies, he was my best friend growing up. His name was Taylor. And Jose knows him because he works with Jose.
Uh-huh.
He actually works in Jose's brewery. He's one of the brew makers, or whatever they call him. Let me try this first.
Oh my God, this is so good.
That is good. It's like the previous one we had, but better,
but smoother.
Yeah. Well, that was reposado too. So yeah. So we're just working our way up. Damn, we only have one left. I feel like we're rushing this.
That's okay. We can go back. Well, we don't have his either, but
yeah,
that's okay. But so
anyways, so Taylor, I grew up with him. We were friends throughout middle school. Went through our weird phases together, being nerds, and then kind of got athletic together. We were always hanging out. My mom and stepdad decided to move to Fort Worth, and at this time, I was a very closed-minded, didn't want to get out of this area child. Now I wish I would have went, but anyways, just to experience more culture. But I stayed here, and I actually stayed with his. I moved in with him basically, and I was going to live like above the garage, and moved in with his family. His dad had just passed away for no reason. Well, he had an aneurysm. Come to find out, he had been doing some drugs, and no one knew. And he had a brain aneurysm, died suddenly. And so to my own way I spend this, I wanted to stay, but I also told my mom, I was like, hey, his mom also has 2 younger girls. I'd like to stay there and help her and Taylor and help them with the family, and I get what I want, and I can help them out.
Right.
So we ended up staying there, whatever. And then we would hang out and do stuff. And his mom was extremely sheltering, so I guess because he was starting to kind of come to his own, and be a little more independent and do a little. And I was probably a bad influence because I was a little more independent child. Yeah. My mom was probably a little easier on me because I just went my own way. I moved out when I was 15. You know what I mean? But no fault of hers. I was ready to get the hell out. And so I lived with him for a little while, and then I moved out completely by myself. But I remember Mom being in town one weekend, and we were out at his dad's deer camp, and everybody got drunk. Like we were with the older people. They were all hanging out drinking. His dad had already passed away, so he wasn't there to be the disciplinary influence. And Taylor wasn't supposed to be drinking. Well, he got shit-faced, and he started freaking out because he'd never been drunk, and he was scared to have to call his mom. He couldn't drive. He's freaking out. I was like, dude, I got this.
Right.
I called my mom straight up. He's like, no. She's going to tell my mom. I said, no, dude. My mom, I'm just on a different level. And it's not so much that we talk, but I just knew that she would know what's up. I said, hey, Mom, come pick us up. We're out here in Bellevue. We're drunk. Taylor's freaking out. Please don't tell his mom. She's like, no problem. I'll be there in like an hour. I was like, cool. Just so that's cool. I guess I never thought about that till you just brought it up. I completely forgot about that shit. But she had happened to be in town that weekend or whatever she was. I'd already moved out of her house. I can't remember what the scenario was, but it's just funny because he was so. I think his mom came down on him really hard when his dad passed because she was trying to do both. I get it. It was kind of a weird thing. And I stayed there a little while, probably about 6 or 8 months. And I was like, this is just too much. I'm used to being able to do my own thing. I don't want anybody questioning me. So I ended up moving out and moving behind my grandparents.
Yeah.
But I thought it was cool that I was able to call her, and it was funny because he was freaking the fuck out. He was so scared. Yeah. And to this day, I don't think she ever told his mom because she was friends with his mom. Yeah. She never said shit. I was like, that's cool.
That's really interesting because when you think about, we've always told our children, look, there was and for anybody who's listening, if you think your child won't drink, or you think your child won't try drugs, or you think your child won't have sex, or you think your child won't be in a situation where they don't know how to handle it, you're a fool.
Right.
Okay? Because unless you're watching them 24/7, it's not so much their behavior, it's the people that they hang out with.
Well, they're influenced by their surroundings.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, let's go do this.
I was hanging out, and I just remembered about this. There was 2 or 3 other friends with us, too, and they were all freaking out.
Yeah.
And so my mom was like the savior, like, bro, your mom's so fucking cool. I was like, look, man, I mean, what are you going to do? Drive drunk? Or
we're going to die?
And at this age, as I got older, I would have a drink or two, maybe drive, and I wouldn't drive shit-faced, but I did some irresponsible shit. But at that age, everyone was freaking the fuck out. And I was like, who can I call at midnight that actually is going to show up that's going to, work around this and everyone will chill out kind of thing?
And the thing about it, too, is when and we've always told our children, look, do not get in a car with someone who's been drinking.
Yeah.
Do not do this. And so back to the thing of, if you think your child's not going to drink, you're a fool. Your child will probably drink. They will probably do something. But if the person that they're responsible for getting them home is drinking, your child needs to know, and this is out of experience, your child needs to know they can call you and you'll come get them. And not just that you'll come get them, but you won't say anything. You'll keep your mouth shut. You won't grill them. Yeah. Like, what the fuck? No, you're going to pick them up. You're going to get them home. You're going to get their friends home too, because you know what? Because their friends need a ride home too, and you don't want them dying. Okay,
Yep.
so
you have that conversation tomorrow.
Yeah, so
when animosity's
exactly
down,
when it's like, you know what, we're going to talk about this later.
Yep.
You're home safe. Get some rest. You're not going to feel good in the morning. Don't worry, I'm going to wake you up early.
Yeah,
you know?
get your ass up.
And even then, I mean, my son, my younger, Chelsea, Lindsay, was hungover one day, and she had drunk when she was younger, and Sage remembers her vomiting, like just horrifically vomiting. And Sage is like, Dad, what's wrong with Lindsay? I'm like, go ask her. And she was like, and she told Sage, don't ever drink. Don't ever drink. Don't ever drink. And I told Sage, I said, you know what? I said, you can drink, but don't drink like she did.
Yeah.
Just be controlling of this. And case in point.
I think it's important. Look, man, I don't support underage drinking, but it's going to happen. And I do think it's important that you figure out your
game plan.
You figure everything out as you like what the worst stories are the preacher's daughters or whatever, the people that never got to party in high school and they go to college and they lose their shit and they lose a sense of focus because they've never experienced any of that. I'm fortunate enough that 14 years old, we was partying doing shit shouldn't have been doing, but by the time I was 18, I had a grown man's job and I was taking care of my responsibilities, and I had my shit together. Had I went to college, I would have done just fine. I went to college later, but like had I went, I would have been fine because I already experienced all that, right?
Yeah.
It's like, if you got to experience those things, and not saying you have to partake in them,
right.
But I mean, you just got to let them be kids. You got to let them learn some of their own influence. Like you said, be there. If some shit pops off, they know you got your back.
Well, what's interesting is I think my son was in middle school. He had a friend, and we might have talked about this. I'm not sure, but we had a friend over from his middle school was over at the house.
Yeah,
and this kid was pulling up porn on our computer.
I think you alluded to it, but you never went to specifics.
Yeah, so he pulled it up, and so I think Cheryl walked in, or Cheryl walked in and said, and she went and told Cheryl, and so the kid did, and then when it was all done, I asked Sage, I'm like, so what happened? He's like, he was on the computer pulling this stuff up, and I'm like, okay. I said, and what I said to him was, I said, do you have any questions?
Yeah.
Did you see something you were like, what the hell is, He's like, no, I'm good. But he was pretty much like, dude, what are you doing? And the kid was sitting at the thing, let me show you all this stuff. And so, I didn't go, what the hell are you? You still live in our house, I know he's your friend, but I didn't do any of that. I was just like, okay, well, that happened.
Yeah.
And not only that, guess what? Anybody whose child has this,
that's what I was about to say. So
has got access to it.
So here's another thing. Here's a lot. There's been a lot of talk about this, and we hadn't talked about it.
Okay, but I have to say something.
Okay, go ahead.
So the other day, because my birthday's coming up, right?
Yeah.
So I walk in.
How old are you going to be?
I'll be 50.
Oh shit!
On Saturday,
okay.
I'll be 50.
Yeah.
So I walk into the living room, right, and my wife is doing something, and then she closes a thing, right, and I'm like, babe, I said, if you're looking at porn, it's okay. I got no problem with it. I'm cool with it. Don't worry about it. And she's like, it's not porn. I was like, well, it could be. It's not fun. I'm fine with it. But I thought it was, but it was something for my birthday.
It's another thing where it goes back and forth.
Yeah, exactly.
It's another thing where it's completely different, relevant. I don't even know what I was going to talk about. Okay, I was going to say is that, so it's extremely hard for us to find porn. Mm-hmm. You more than me, but me more than anyone else now. Because, I'm saying we had
to steal it from the Mexicans. Yeah.
Right. I had a little bit of internet access, but that you didn't.
Yeah, we had paper. Yeah.
Right. So, you had to find a nudie mag or whatever, or Skinamax. And
I had a collection.
Yeah. So,
it was curated.
For me, we didn't have internet at my house, and it was dial up. If we did, it was in the living room. It was in the living room, so it's not like you're not going to pull your little thing out and masturbate in front of everybody. It's not like. Oh shit! Anyways, so
I was fine too. You said pull your little thing out.
Yeah, man. I mean, you're little young and in middle school or whatever.
Oh, that's great.
Whenever you start doing that shit, 12 years old or whatever, I don't remember. No. But so, anyways, yeah, that's in the middle of the house. So it's not easily accessible. But now they can see so much, and they can see so much at an early age, and not only that, see things that are not really realistic. And then you think about, they talk about this too. So they've talked about, and I've seen these studies, and I'm not about to rattle off numbers. One day we'll have enough budget where Josh will be able to pull this shit up online for us. But that these these 18-year-old boys are having erectile dysfunction because they cannot be aroused with a personal experience because they've already seen so much and done so much.
Seeing a naked woman does nothing.
Well, not only that, but like all these crazy things and have these weird ass afflictions and shit because they can't. They just been exposed to so much, and too much at one time, or like too much too early.
Yeah, and their brain doesn't understand. Their brain doesn't understand personal interaction.
Well, all this crazy shit, like all the weird, role play shit, cosplay shit, weird shit, whatever it may be, and then you get to a regular situation, and that does nothing for you because you've already built up past that.
Yeah.
To these weird.
You're like, here, put these donkey ears on for me.
Yeah, for real. So like that's an issue.
Call me your stepbrother.
Yeah, exactly. It's fucking weird, man. But like that's an issue now. Right. And it's going to be an ongoing issue because there's there's another problem with technology. But look, here's the thing. Technology is here to stay, and it always has been. The fucking vehicle's technology. Everything is technology. Everything is evolving and growing. So it's always going to be an issue, but that is something that is a problem.
Yeah.
It's a problem, and it scares the shit out of me having children, having access to that shit. They got to see it at some point, but like letting them, I don't know, man. You got to.
But here's the deal: as having a daughter and having daughters, the boys look at this and think that it's okay to act or be this way with your baby girls because they've been looking at this, and we've all been boys before. But to think about that, you got to think to yourself, okay, what do you tell your daughter, baby girl? But go ahead and say something.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, I think she's going to be a little badass like her mom, so I'm not worried about her.
That's good.
Her mom can kick most men's ass I know.
That's good.
Including mine at CrossFit. She beats me all the fucking time. But, like, so I'm not worried about that, but most people I would be. Most regular homes I would be worried about that. And it's something we got to deal with, man. It's something that needs to be talked about. I guess we never just brought it up and never thought about it. We never got to this conversation.
I heard something a while back, and this was very interesting because I thought, you know what, that's a very interesting thing, is that censorship on TV. Yeah, here, open it up. I love this. It's the most beautiful bottle.
You give me some description
on it.
That's gorgeous. I'm going to do the work.
So it's a Cenote Cristalino, and it's an añejo that's been, just like the, it's just been filtered again.
And this is from my peeps at Cuban Liquor.
That's the most beautiful bottle I've seen. Oh my God! Look at that. Oh, it's heavy too. That's so nice. Crazy. God, it's gorgeous.
It's the little things, man.
Yeah, it is. It's the details.
Yeah.
So where the hell was I? What was I talking about?
I don't know.
See the power of tequila, people.
No, it's we were talking about. We were talking about.
The fact that murder and death and all this stuff is so.
It's the last one.
Be a baller.
It's the last one.
Is acceptable.
Yeah.
But sex is taboo. You cannot show certain parts of the human body. You can people almost everybody does.
On what setting though? Like, are you talking about in movies?
I'm talking about in a movie.
In TV.
I'm talking about in a movie, like
the way they rate things.
People, is that good? Let me finish this shit.
Well, these Crystalinos are always my favorite, man. I know Ben prefers a pure añejo, but these things right here, for some reason, I fucking.
But the taboo of something that actually creates life, and that in a healthy situation is a wonderful, beautiful thing, is. Let me try that.
That's how they roll, man. That's how they roll with these things.
But it's clear, like
height. So. The Mayans considered cenotes as windows into the underworld and believed that they were inhabited by gods and goddesses. This ultra premium tequila is carefully
It's like Halloween candy.
It's carefully crafted with 100% blue agave.
Yeah.
It says aged for 1 year in American oak barrels and then filtered through charcoal, leaving the complexity and character of an añejo with the crisp notes of a blanco. So here's my thing. How in the fuck does it go from a whiskey barrel to charcoal and give these sweet notes? Because every time we have one of these, it's the same shit.
Because apparently the charcoal takes out the color.
Yeah, but the thing is, but how does it make it sweeter? Because the sweetness from an añejo, you don't have that.
Okay, but do they have additives in it after they crystallize it?
No.
Well, just because they don't tell you, I mean they don't.
Well, I don't think they do because,
it sounds like I'm drinking chocolate with a little bit of.
I don't think they do because, I mean, I guess Look, we're so bad about this on this podcast. We need to do more research on these things. But look, I'm just going to call it how it is. We're going to pull it out. We're going to try it and see what happens.
And that's why it's called Tequila Talk, not Tequila Experts telling you what to drink.
Yeah, not whatever the fuck it's called that I got kicked out of. Collectors, whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tequila Collectors.
Are you still in that group?
I still follow that group, and I still laugh at them.
You should leave just on
No. I still keep on there because I like making fun of people who talk about stuff. I go in there, and I'm like the devil's advocate on all this other stuff.
Yeah, I shared a podcast because I was like, well, these people may get something out of it. We had fucking Tears of Llorona on it. I figured like, oh, they would appreciate our input. Yeah. We had some other great tequilas. Man, they fucking blocked me and banned me. I was like, man, fuck y'all.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying. It's not like I'm trying to. Yeah, no. What the fuck? I'm not even monetized. I'm not going to make money off this.
Exactly. So, but anyway, now I grew up Mexican and Catholic, so you were supposed to be ashamed of your body till you died. Nobody was supposed to see your naked body except the coroner. When you had sex on your wedding night, you turned the lights out. And so I had a very unhealthy, I guess, mental state when it came to sex and stuff like that. And so,
do you think that's prevalent in most Hispanic culture?
Oh God, yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no. Hey, orale, cochino. Put your wee away.
Yeah.
Put that thing away. But what's funny is my grandson one day, he's when you talk about the point out your little thing.
Yeah.
He's small. He's still discovering his body. And he's like going like that. And my wife's like, stop it. Quit playing with that. I'm like, bro, that's gonna be your best friend for the rest of your life. Don't even worry about it. just roll. I said it will never leave you nor forsake you. But I do think that there needs to be a discussion, and which is why I wanted to have a discussion with my son. It's like, look, is there anything you saw that you have questions about?
Yeah.
Do you want to know? Why was he choking her? I don't know, but. I don't know what they were looking at, but I also think that if you're afraid to talk about something to your child and the world is not,
there's a problem.
That's a problem.
It's a problem.
And you need
in front of all
exactly.
That.
Now, the sex talk with your daughter needs to happen with your wife.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
I'm not having that. Fuck no.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not having that conversation.
And then, but here's the deal with your son.
I don't even like her not having clothes on. I'm like, put clothes on.
Oh my god! I got to tell you, that reminds me. My daughter, my oldest daughter, was probably maybe even in high school, and she would like walk from her room to the laundry room to get a bra because she didn't have a clean one. Walk in without top. I'm like, girl. It's not Girls Gone Wild.
Yeah.
Put your shirt on.
Yeah.
But again, and I think a friend of mine had asked me one time about nudity. Like, how are you? Not even asked me about it, but they posted about asking. In your house, what is your policy on nudity? With your kids and stuff like that. And I said, well, you know what? Growing up Mexican, being ashamed of my body, and not, it was, God, whatever. When I met my wife, and we got married, it was like naked land at my house. It was like everybody was naked. And I found it comforting because it became not that the body didn't become only a sexual thing, which I think in the Catholic world, and this could be a problem.
Well, how we're all raised.
In the Catholic world and in the Mexicans is that the body is, if you see somebody naked, it's wrong, and that your naked body is only for sexuality, nothing else.
Yeah.
When in the fact, you know what, we would go to the bathroom. And our children would come in the bathroom because they want to talk to us. And we were like, stop it, get away from me. It's like, okay, well, can I finish peeing first? And then we'll solve your problem.
This morning. This shit's weird to me because I've never been that way. So it's weird. So this morning, I woke up late because we stayed up late.
It's caramel.
Yeah, it's got a caramel taste. I woke up a little late. Well, I say late. I woke up probably 10 minutes after, longer than I would like to wake the kids up. And so I was like, hey, hurry up and get dressed so y'all make the bus. And so one of them, the boy, starts peeing. And then as soon as he gets done peeing, the girl comes right behind him and drops her trowel and starts peeing. I'm like, this is the weirdest shit ever.
But here's the deal.
While they're getting ready, I'm
going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this.
Weird because I didn't have that dynamic growing up. And also I had just had a brother. So it's weird for me. It's different for me.
But here's the deal. Whether you think of it, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
Because your children feel comfortable enough to be like, look, this is just what we're doing. It's part of life. This is how we go. When a child is ashamed of themselves or and we can get into the whole, well, we're not going to get into it. But, a child is uncomfortable with themselves or does not like to be a certain way. It's Could be from trauma in their past life. In their past, it could be somebody molested them. Somebody did something to them. So the fact that they're open and comfortable, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's a time and place.
And this morning was the right time and place.
I mean,
it's not like you were at the mall and they're like, let's just go in the same bathroom.
There's a time and place.
But, I mean, I'm sure up until a certain age, your wife took her son into the bathroom with her.
Yeah.
Because, and that's just, and what I love is that every woman understands that. When they go into the woman's bathroom and there's a little boy in there, they're like, yeah, it's a little boy.
We just stopped that. I stopped it, of course.
Well,
but like
good.
she was still doing it. That's fine. Look, man, I don't know, man. I'm just like, hey, you got to toughen up a little bit. That's just my part, man. That's me. But it is what it is. She's the love. I'm the other.
And that's a good dynamic.
Yeah.
Because there comes a time when she needs love, and there's going to come a time when she needs stability and discipline and certain look, yes and no. Because one day she may come to you and say, you know what, Dad, there's a guy and he said this about me and this, and I don't understand that. And you can be honest with her and say, you know what, the reason he said that is because he wasn't able to get what he wanted from you, or he wasn't able to control you like he thought he could, and you're stronger than he thought you were. And now he has to save face and put you down to his friends and to everybody else. And guess what? Don't worry about it. It's not you.
Isn't that something that's so interesting? And we need to circle back to this bullying shit too, because I didn't think we were going to rant but we always do, and it's cool. I'm cool about that. But
welcome to Tequila Talk.
We'll roll this another 30 minutes or so. But isn't it interesting that things that used to be said, we just laugh at people. Like when you say, oh, someone says that because they feel bad about themselves. And we laugh about that shit. We're like, ha, whatever, because we're just little assholes.
Right.
But as you get older, you do realize that there's a root problem to people acting this way to another individual, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There always is, right? But when we heard that being little assholes, we just would laugh and like, shut up, pussy. You know what I mean? Shut up, it's fine, whatever. We're being a pussy.
Yeah.
But now it's like, no, there's a problem. If you're treating someone, now there's a difference between giving somebody a little shit, and there's being a complete cunt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you're treating someone, hey man, this is what it is. Like if you're treating someone that bad, there's a problem. There's a problem at home. You have some, have some issues where you don't want to deal with things and that's something that it's just funny because it was a cliche thing that was talked about growing up. It's like, you need to be nice to people.
Yeah.
If you're not being nice to people, something must be wrong, whatever.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say this, and I've never shared the story with anybody. My wife doesn't even know the story, so she's going to hear it now for the first time.
Let's go.
When I was in elementary school, there was a girl named Cindy, and I think 5th grade was when she came to our school, and she was gorgeous. She had beautiful eyes, but she started developing early. So, first of all the girls didn't like her.
Of course.
Because she had boobs this big, but she was in 5th grade. She was the sweetest girl, one of the sweetest girls I'd ever met in my life. However, the hey, let's go with the crowd thing, her and I kind of had a little thing where she played a prank on me, and she told me, hey, I'm having a party at my house. How come you're not here? I'm like, what? I didn't even know about it. What are you talking about? And this is on a military base, so she just lived 2 streets up, right? So I'm like, what are you talking about? Party what? And she goes, yeah, this person's here, this person's here. I'm like, she's like, where are you? I'm like, I didn't know about the party. She's like, well, I told them to tell you about it. So I went and I told my parents, I'm like, hey, Cindy's having this party up the street. I didn't even know about it. Can I go? And they're like, I guess. And so I go up there and I'm like, her house is dark. There's nobody there. So I knock on the door. I'm like, hello. So she opens the door and she's like, oh my God. And she starts laughing. She's busting out laughing. Oh my God, I got you. Blah, blah, you fell for it. And I was like, that's a good one. But there was mean things that were happening in the elementary school. Like all the girls got together one day and said, okay, when she sits down at our table, we're all going to get up from the lunch table and move to this other table.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Okay,
kids,
yeah.
Though, man. Kids are assholes.
Listen
kids
to me.
Are assholes.
And I was like, oh, yeah, so we do that. So, and she started crying. She was just sitting at her lunch table like this, right? And so our teacher, talked to her. And then our teacher came into class and ripped our asses about it, okay? And then she tried, and then like later somebody tried to do it again, and it didn't work to some other kid because we all learned our lesson. Okay, well, I found out because I moved to Italy after my 7th grade. Her and I went to this. We ended up going to the same middle school, and we stayed friends. And
where was this at?
This was in New Mexico.
New Mexico.
And she was a beautiful spirit. She was just a really beautiful spirit. And I had asked my friend after I moved back from Hawaii. I was in Italy. After I was in Italy. I moved back to Hawaii. I was talking to a friend of mine after graduation. I said, whatever happened to Cindy? He goes, oh man, she killed herself.
What?
I said, what?
At what
age? He said, yeah, she was a sophomore in high school. She killed herself because her boyfriend broke up with her. And I said, what? He said, yeah. And I thought, and then I started thinking back to myself how fragile she was as an elementary school student, and how I don't know how middle school was with her because I was only there for 1 year, but she, I think, gave too much. She gave too much weight on what others.
Yeah, that weight on her too. It started early.
Thought about her.
But it probably was her early development.
Yeah, exactly. And so to me, I'm thinking to myself, holy shit! I took part in this thing when she was in 6th grade, and later on in her life,
you were in the part of the prank.
Yeah, I was part of the prank. I was in 6th grade. I was like, yo, let's all get up and move over. Let's do this. Hell, I might have instigated. I don't know. I don't remember. But but her and I had this funny relationship in that we could rag on each other, but we knew it wasn't personal. We were friends. But to hear that she never became confident, and she was, oh my God, she was a beautiful girl with a beautiful spirit, and something happened in her life, and she devalued her self on this world. In this world.
Yeah, there was a girl that went to school with us that I believe, man, I know for a fact it was before middle school. It was elementary school that she had boobs and she was taller than all of us, and we'd make fun of her. And then she ended up staying. Her name was Jessica. I don't remember her last name, but we would the same situation. We'd make fun of everybody. We'd make fun of her. Girls would be mean to her. Boys would make fun of her because we weren't quite to that age to where we thought that was attractive.
Right.
And then as we got older, it's funny. I remember looking back and getting to high school, and she was like way smaller than everyone. Like she just developed really early, but we passed her. She was short. Right. She was a giant in later elementary school, like 4th and 5th grade. I remember that shit though. But yeah, that's something. Yeah, I mean, I guess and not only that, I mean, who knows? She could have been getting molested at home. You don't ever know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't know. And what bothers me is the fact that,
I said that, so I didn't mean to be so casual about that.
No.
But
I understand.
You don't know.
You never know. You never know what's happening, and that's funny. You never know what's happening behind closed doors. And I'll believe this to this day about everybody's profiles, even yours, anybody's. My children's profiles on Facebook, something. What you see is not always what the reality is. It's bullshit. What you want others to think.
Well, I'll tell you this. My shit's pretty legit. We would be more. I feel like my wife and I. I feel like my wife and I would be even more ridiculous on social media if we thought it was a little more acceptable. Exactly. Because we don't give a fuck. But I try to be a little level-headed. I definitely don't glamorize anything. That's for sure. But
but the honesty and sometimes I'm like, I always, when somebody's like, I'm on this vacation or that, I always do like a gif of Viola Davis going, picking up her bag and walking out.
Yeah.
Like really, again, honestly, I don't care. Really. And I read something one time I thought was really funny. It said, I hope your life is as good as the one you portray on social media.
Yeah.
That's my prayer for you, is that it's as good as you portray.
I think if you feel, and this is something that everyone battles with, especially this day and age, and here's my thing. I don't think emotions, I don't think perception, I don't think insecurities, I don't think any of that has changed. I just think that the platforms have adjusted to where now you have the ability to bullshit people even more. So
and now, instead of one person telling you your shit to your face, 50 people can do it online.
And so you're scared to be yourself. But here's the thing. it is high school amplified.
Oh God,
that's what social media is. It's high school amplified because you found your okay. Think about it. This is Facebook, Instagram, more Facebook. In a nutshell, you have your group of people. This is your close friends, the people that always comment on your stuff.
Right.
The people that when you post your grandson, they give you some positive feedback. Right. And then there's the people over there that are thinking negative bullshit. Like, why are they always posting this positive shit? Because their life sucks. Right. Like, and so there's this close group of people that you have that support you. Then there's other group of people over here talking shit behind you. Your back because you're being positive, but they don't want to say anything. So it's the same thing. It's high school amplified. We've all been the same beings since the fucking dawn of time. Yeah. There's some group of us that get along, and the groups that don't get along with us are going to talk shit because they're not, acceptable. Whatever, accepted into that. So like, it's the same shit. When people are like, social media is horrible, it's the root of all evil. No, it's fucking humanity. Yeah, we are horrible people.
Yeah, we just have the ability. We have the ability to be mean instantly.
Yeah, we're evil motherfuckers. It's just here's a platform to take it to the fucking
right. We can exponentially. Yeah, we can outsource our anger.
If you want to blame anything, blame who's the motherfucker that discovered electricity.
Oh, Thomas Edison.
Blame him because the motherfucker discovered electricity, and then 100 years later, the internet
racism was around before him. Okay,
exactly. Fuck yeah, everyone's hated each other forever since the dawn of time. If you're unlike me, I probably did not like you until I got to know you. Yeah. That is the fucking answer. I don't like you because you're different until I get to know you, and then I like you. Right. So like you had the internet after 100 years of electricity, then you have the internet. The internet provides mass communications in the entire fucking world, so it's the same ideologies amplified to everyone. Yeah. But we're all still doing the same shit, being horrible people. Yeah.
Like because you know why? Because when you type something, nobody's going to punch your teeth in.
Exactly. There's no accountability.
But try saying that in flight. You didn't say anything about my shirt yet, bro.
I was getting there. I was getting there, man. I was getting there. We still have plenty of time. I was kind of waiting. I was going to segue to
okay, good. Because segue in when you get the opportunity. Because I was talking about my wife and I are going to go to dinner after this, and
no, you got to go. My wife's here today. You got to go to dinner with us.
You gotta go dinner with you guys?
Yeah, come on.
Well, why don't you come to where you going? Where you going?
Downstairs. Come on.
Where at?
Come on.
No, we have a gift certificate.
Come on, man. Save that. It's not your birthday yet. That's this weekend. Save that.
You talk to her. Okay, I will. Let you talk to her.
I'll let her talk to her.
We're gonna go to Kobe after this because I want some. I wanted Chinese food, but I'm like, I'll take some Kobe.
Do that this weekend.
And a friend of ours, our next door neighbor, she's a sweet lady, and I always try to help her whenever I can. I fix her her. She had a tree fall on her roof. Yeah. And so I took it down and chopped it up and stuck it in and said, I do it because I can. I don't do it because I don't expect anything. And this is one thing that's very interesting is I don't know if it's the mentality of people that if I do something for you, you owe me. But when I grew up, if you had the means, the capability, the talent to do something for somebody else, you did it. And you didn't ask for anything. You did it because you could. And it felt good to do it. It was very, very selfish for me, at least, to go, let me take care of that. So then she gave us this gift certificate for Kobe. And we're like, well, we don't really owe that Kobe much anymore because it's not as good as it used to be. Maybe it'll be good tonight. But anyways, we were going to go to dinner tonight. But she told me, I told her, there was another shirt that I wanted because she had made mention of my other shirts. And I said, there's another shirt that I wanted. She had ordered for me for my birthday, but they were out of stock on it. And so she told me, because I saw it. It was an Archer. You ever watch Archer?
Yeah, man.
It was an Archer shirt, right?
I watched it when it first came out, but I haven't watched it recently.
Yeah. So it was an Archer shirt. And I told Cheryl, I was like, oh my God, I want this. And I saw it at the Fan Expo in Dallas. Or the Dallas Fan Expo, and I didn't get it though because I forgot to go back and get it. And Cheryl told me. So Cheryl told me yesterday. She goes, "Listen to me." She goes, "When you see something and you want it, buy it. Yeah. Okay. Don't go back. Don't think I'm going to get it again. Blah blah." And to me, I'm the cheapest motherfucker.
Me too. I'm the same way.
I'm like,
That's raises a good point because we went to Charlie Crockett a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I'll just buy that shit online. But dude, with the stock and everything now. And shipping issues and all that. If you see it, just get it, the motherfucker. Because like I'm a t-shirt guy. I'm the worst about I'm a free t-shirt guy. So like exactly. I'll trade t-shirts. Yeah. I'll wear shit. Like
so I went to so I wanted to get this one shirt, but this last time at GeekCon, we were at GeekCon, yeah. Okay, and then I fell in love with season 4 of Stranger Things.
I'm so glad, dude. That Metallica, that shit was insane. So the wife hasn't seen the previous 3 seasons.
Okay.
But we got her to watch some of the end of that because me and the kids were watching it. But
yeah. So Cheryl hadn't seen Stranger Things. I only watched season 1. And then when I saw the thing about Metallica, I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to go through
up to it. Yeah.
So her and I started watching it from season 1 all the way through. So I'd come home from work, we'd feed the dogs, we'd make dinner, and we'd sit down, we're like, okay, let's do this. Let's watch this.
Dude, and that shit's good.
And that's one thing I love about my wife is her and I are like, okay, what do you want to watch? A lot of times we've got like a bunch of Hallmark Christmas movies or something like that. But that's our time together. Now, her and I have been married almost 30 years, okay? We don't have to sit down and talk to each other.
Yeah.
We can sit down and be with each other, and that's fine.
Yeah.
We're good. A lot of times I'll say, hey, pause it for a second because something will come into my mind, and we'll talk about it, okay? But that's our dynamic. And so we started watching that. Well, there's a character called, and his name is Argyle. And he's a Mexican, and he's got this hair that comes down to his the pizza guy, right? Yeah. He's a surfer pizza boy, right? My daughter Chelsea, because she was talking to Cheryl about it, she's like, have you watched Stranger Things? And Cheryl's like, no. She's like, you got to watch it. Well, my daughter said, Argyle reminds her of me when I was in high school because I showed her my pictures in high school when I had real long black hair, straight. She's like, oh, my God. So when we had GeekCon, I decided I'm going to be Argyle for GeekCon. And I only did it on Friday. So I was lucky enough to put together a cosplay costume, including the long hair and then the visor. And about 20 people asked me to take pictures with them on Friday, right? And so it was like, and I was like, hey, what's up? Try it before you deny it.
Yeah.
All this other stuff. And so, and I had a great time. So we're going to Dallas in October for the fan days, and he's actually going to be there.
Oh, fuck.
The guy's going to be there.
Up as him
so I'm going to dress up as him.
Yeah.
But I told Cheryl, I said, I don't have my shirt. I said, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to wear the Bob's Burgers shirt. She goes, why don't you wear your Stranger Things shirt? Why don't you wear Surfer Pizza Boy shirt? I was like, okay, I'll wear that. So I decided to wear that in my Surfer Pizza Boy. She's like, why don't you wear the overshirt too? I was like, it's too hot to wear the second shirt.
It's a little warm.
I said, but so that's why I wore it. But it's a great show, and he's a great character. And so Cheryl's like, that's going to be the picture for the ages, next to him.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So. What I think about what's great about that show is it's wholesome, man. It's wholesome. It makes you feel like you get the root back to the 70s. Like when it first started, it was like the late 70s into the 80s and then into the early 90s, right? Mm-hmm. Like these kids that are watching are into it. They never experienced any of that in life, right?
What's the mall?
They never experienced
How come there's so many people at the mall?
Yeah, the mall or the camaraderie of the kids riding the bikes around the neighborhood and hanging out and getting into this mischief.
Right. And getting mad that your girl that you like
is talking to
somebody
dude.
else, not texting them, but actually talking to them.
Like going to their house or hanging out with them. And then the riding the bikes and then hanging out and then like getting into mischief together and then having to solve that shit and then all the while being home by fucking dark. Like that shit's just all like, it's almost like taboo to children now.
Yeah, they're like, wait a minute, they got to go outside?
Yeah, no shit.
What?
They can ride their bikes. They can ride their bikes.
Well, why didn't they just call their mom on their phone?
They know how to ride a bike.
Yeah, why don't they just call their mom on their phone? Because they didn't exist back then.
Yeah. No, I think it's great. I think it's an amazing show. I think it's awesome. I think it, like I said, I think it brings back some wholesomeness to the, what we're missing.
You know what? And what I love about it is that it's not.
I don't even know who the producer is to that, but shout out to them.
There's two brothers. It's two brothers that do it together. And what I do like about the show, the fact is that, and what's funny is that one of the actors said, I don't know why they don't kill off more main characters.
Who said that?
I think it was 11, the girl that plays 11.
She said that?
She said that, and the creator said, because this is not Game of Thrones. This is not Westeros.
Right.
This is a different thing.
Yeah.
We don't kill off people just to kill them off.
Well, you know what's crazy is she's like to see her in the interviews is crazy because she's so good at portraying. That's another thing. Like you respect an actor of how they portray themselves, and then like you get attached to that, and then you see them outside of their element. You're like, holy shit, that's not the same person. Like my biggest thing is who's that fucking Josh? Who's that dude? He's winning jiu-jitsu tournaments left and right. Plays Bane. Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Like, you would not expect him to have a British accent because every fucking role he's played has...
I can't tell you how many times my wife looks up somebody and goes, oh my God, they got a British accent.
Have you ever seen the movie Dunkirk?
Is that the one where they're brothers? Dunkirk's about like
about
World War II.
Yeah.
He's a fighter pilot, and literally like the whole time, like this is like all you can hear.
Hey, have you seen the one where he has a twin brother? Oh, dude, you gotta. I'll find it and send it to y'all. It's fucking great.
Right.
And it's actually in fucking like European, like it's in England.
Yeah,
it's straight up in their element, and they're like two brothers, and they're like mob bosses. It is fucking great. They beat the shit out of everybody. They're some type of enforcer.
But I think that and you know what's interesting is the Pinocchio, and I know this is kind of an odd thing, but the new Pinocchio movie came out. Okay,
I have not even looked at it, man.
It's on Disney Plus, and a guy that I respect, had talked about it, and he said, I learned. I think they did blah blah, and it was a wonderful lesson, blah blah blah. And I said, you know what? I said,
you want last pour?
Hell yeah! I said we watched it. You want some? I said we watched it, and it was good, but I was upset that they didn't do this and didn't do this and didn't do this, and I said, and I honestly think that if people are looking for life lessons in movies, they need help.
Yeah.
Okay. And he said, well, no. What I'm saying is, if you can get life lessons wherever you can get them, that's great. I said, you're right, if you can. However, do not depend on Disney or Pixar or Paramount to teach you life. You need to learn about life the right way, from your parents, from your friends. Don't look to a movie to find values.
Yeah.
If you don't have values before you watch this movie or watch a movie, it's probably going to go over your head. And
yeah, well, I think that too. Like, remember when people used to get like you had the PETA activists because from Bambi and shit. You know what I mean? Like, here's the thing, man.
Yeah, but it would have been a good movie.
We didn't take any of that shit literal. We just watched it and moved on with our life.
That's right.
We didn't take that shit literal. We didn't.
And some kids were like, how many points was she? Did they get some good venison out of it?
Yeah, or no. Yeah, shit, right? Or like, my thing was like, I didn't think anything of it. I watched it and moved on with my life. Like, or now creating this fucking woke ideology with fucking Disney pisses me the fuck off. I know you're a Disney investor and whatever, but the most recent fucking Thor movie pissed me the fuck off.
You told me about that when you and I were doing. You told me about it.
I have nothing against everything, but when you're trying to push things on people because you feel like you may get some bad rap if you don't include certain things, I think push it out, like produce it and film it and create it like it was in the fucking comics. Mm-hmm. Like, honor Stan Lee. Honor Stan Lee for what he created. Mm-hmm. I mean, what he created is literally taking Disney to a whole nother fucking level, man. I mean, if you think about it, like, of course they were great. They're a great fucking corporation and they're awesome. But like the Marvel dude, oh my god! Like between that and Star Wars, who's the producer for Star Wars? A creator?
Well, George Lucas was
George Lucas. So so between George Lucas and Stan Lee, what they've attributed and like given to Disney, like, take that and like honor it and don't bend shit and make it fucking weird.
Well, okay, and with saying that, I'm gonna go into the whole new Little Mermaid. Okay.
I hadn't even looked at that.
Well,
shit.
and I'm gonna say it. Okay, now here's the deal. I play, and I've told you this. Okay, I go to church. I'm one of the 3 lightest people in my church. I go to a predominantly black church.
Yeah,
I play. I'm a drummer. I love them. I never even knew what racism was. Probably until I was in my, probably in my teens, because somebody said something about the BX not having enough, they had too much black hair product in the BX, and I was like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah,
I was like, there's so many black people. I'm like, how are they different than anybody else? I never understood.
Right.
I never knew racism until somebody pointed it out to me.
Right.
Okay, but. For example, like Little Mermaid, okay? You know what? It's a classic. Why are you making it? Okay, you're going to remake it? Fine, no problem. My wife and I watched it. The girl who's playing Ariel is gorgeous. She has a beautiful voice. She stylizes Part of Your World. Most of us grew up with Part of Your World, and it's sacred to us, okay?
I don't know what that is.
It's a song called Part of Your World. Okay. Some things become sacred to individuals, and you go, why did you change it? It didn't need to be changed. Yeah. It was strong enough as it was. If you want to put in an African-American or black Ariel, that's fine. Why do you feel the need that she has to stylize a song we've all grown up with to be quote unquote ethnic or cultural. Why do you feel the need to do that? And so when I watched it, I said, there's no reason for it. Okay, write a new one. Write a different movie. Write something.
Yeah, that's what I understand.
Different.
Like, if you create something new. Like if it's a classic, like I would say, okay,
you're too scared to create.
I would say, here's my thing. I would say, okay, if this film is racist as it was, then get fucking rid.
But
of it.
But it wasn't.
Get rid of it.
There was no racism.
If there's nothing wrong with it, then
fucking crab was Jamaican.
Create something new.
He was Jamaican.
Like I just think that we're too goddamn. Yeah, we're too goddamn sensitive, man, to everything. And look, I'm white and privileged, so I can't say shit. You know what I mean? Like, so whatever. Like,
my wife is laughing in the other room.
I can't say anything. As far as, like, I have no fucking political opinion on this shit. All I know is that shut the fuck up and be creative and do something different. Like,
well, it's not even
don't fuck up a good thing, man.
Right? It's
don't fuck up a good thing. Like Wizard of Oz. Wizard of Oz was created in 1939. They're just now about to recreate it in 2022. What the fuck are they going to do to that? Who knows?
You know what the problem is? Everybody's
1939. It's literally fucking almost 100 years old.
What, the flying monkeys in a series?
Yeah.
Like, everybody is afraid to create something new because they're worried people aren't going to like it. Okay, so let's take something that we know that they like, but let's change it around to include other people. And I just read something today, and I hate Chapek, who's the CEO of Disney, and every year I vote him out, but I don't have enough votes. But he's made it so that you have to pay a premium to be at Disney World. Okay, fine. I will pay $8,000 instead of $5,000 if you'll have less crowds. Well, problem is it doesn't feel like there's less crowds,
right?
But I still paid the extra $3,000. But he also has decided to change a lot of different things within the company that are not okay. For example, Disney, and I know I've said this before, but Disney in his speech about Disneyland said Disneyland is created on the what is it? The hard facts that made America.
Every time you say Disneyland, you remember that movie Bulletproof? Disneyland.
Remember that? With Chris Rock and
David Wayne's Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler, yeah. Disneyland.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I agree. Disneyland. But that it was created with the hard facts that made America. What happens is when we forget or neglect the hard facts, this is when kids get bullied. Because they don't realize that somebody went before you and took that black eye. Okay?
Yeah.
If you forget that somebody else came before you and you think that this is how life is, somebody else is going to be right there to give you that black eye because you weren't paying attention.
Well, and now it's like a toxic masculinity thing and all this bullshit. Look, man, I don't fucking know. All I know is that I felt like I was raised with decent values. I came up in a culture where there's probably a lot of racism, and the words that I used to hear growing up doesn't even cross my mind anymore. Right. So I know that I'm in a good place in life where I don't have any type of ill fate against anyone. Right. But my predecessors did. Yeah. But I think it was just a way of how they were raised and where they were at.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't ever think that. I was thinking that in my mind the other day. I was like, those words don't even come to my brain when I describe someone, whether it be any ethnicity. And I know I'm in a good place and I feel good about it. And I try to, I don't look at that shit. But I feel like that people before us did, and it is what it is. But we're all moving past that.
Well, the other day, my wife and I took our grandson to the park in Brownlee, okay? Because he wanted to go to the park, and we were watching him. So we went to the park, and we played. And there was these two beautiful little black girls who were playing, and he wanted to play with them. Mm-hmm. He's like, Papa, I want to go over there and play with them. And so they ended up playing together in the water and having a good time. And my heart was joyful because I said, you know what? He does not see color.
You don't see anything.
All he sees is an individual, and he sees two girls he wants to play with. Yeah. And their mother was like, hey, and my wife sat down and talked, and they talked to each other. And I thought to myself, you know what? All this shit that everybody keeps pushing down our throats about racism and
just trying to create more.
They're trying to create something walls, that doesn't exist.
Right. And so the thing is,
and the purity of a child.
Yeah, you can't take that away.
You can't. And it blessed my heart.
It makes me think of something because I grew up like my grandpa. When I moved into my own house, I got my own house when I was 18, and I was next to my grandparents. So I was renting that lot from my grandfather and my grandmother. And I told this story to my wife not too long ago, but like we had a friend come over. His name was. We saw him in the restaurant one day, and I told her, that, whatever. But anyways, his name was Andre. He's a black friend of mine, black guy. So he used to hang out with us. Well, he would come to my house, and my grandpa would be like, "I don't want that boy up here on this hill.
But he didn't say boy.
He don't need to be around here."
Exactly.
No, he didn't say boy.
Yeah, I know. I know exactly what you mean. But keep saying
he didn't say that. I'm saying that out of respect for my friend.
Thank you.
And he said, "I don't want him around here." Blah blah. And I went over to him and I said, "Look, you don't know him.
Yeah.
He's my fucking friend." And he didn't. Just a weekend before that, we had gotten a massive fight, and he had me and my cousins back, and we fucked up a lot of people. But had he not been there, we probably would have got fucked up. It was just crazy. We were always doing crazy shit like that. And I was like, "You don't know him? He just had our back the other day." Like I said, "That's my boy, and this is my area over here. I'm paying you for it. He can come here all he wants." And like I think he had a little respect for that, and it checked him a little bit. And he never said it to me, never said that to me. But it's how you're raised. You just sometimes it's ingrained in you, But I think about that a lot when I see those things. I'm like, I remember like feeling that firsthand, and I could have went back and told him that, but I never said that to him.
Yeah, no.
I never made him leave.
No.
I fucking stood up for him because he's my fucking friend, and he had my back, and I don't give a fuck what color he is or who he is. He probably saved my life the weekend before had he not been there with us. You know what I mean? Who knows? So like. Fuck that, So, like, anybody ever says anything like that shit to me, I'm just like,
Disturbed has a song called "Who Taught You How to Hate."
Yeah,
and it means that we're all born with purity. Okay, we learn how to be around other people, but we have to be taught how to hate. Initially, we love everybody. But
we look at a child. Look at a child. Yeah, they're innocent.
When I watch my grandson, and when I watch my grandson, I'm like, I love that he's not inundated with all this shit that people are throwing at him going, you should be this and you should be that. Although it's wrong, you should be this and you should be that. Because if you're not that, you're not this or that. And all that has to do with everything that they're getting on social media and all those other things. But to know that he knows that a human being is a human being regardless of their color is a beautiful thing. And I think we need to teach that more often than, blah, blah, blah. But we're taught how to hate.
Yeah.
Who taught you how to hate? Somebody taught you how to hate.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap it up, man. We're at like an hour and a half now.
Oh, is that only an hour and a half, just you and me?
Yeah, man.
Wow, that's pretty good.
We can keep rolling forever.
And you know what's interesting is, and I want to thank you. Yeah, well, that's so good. I want to thank you because we were supposed to do this last week.
Yeah, you were going to interview me.
Yeah. Well, actually, I was supposed to interview you today.
Yeah. So we'll do that. We'll do it
another time. But last week, and I want to thank you for this because last week, me and Jose were supposed to do this, but I had my grandson.
Yeah.
And you know what? He had soccer. He had all this stuff. So guess what? He takes a priority.
Yeah.
And I love that you appreciate that. So, okay, we'll reschedule it for next week. And so, unfortunately, today, Jose couldn't be here.
The man got him down.
But he missed a good one, and he might have had a couple.
This
would
have been a 3-hour podcast if he was here. Shit.
Oh my gosh! He got a girl. I met his daughter. Yeah, we met his daughter. It could be a thing, but salud.